I don't understand. It's so frustrating. I feel like this camera's cursed. Hi, Internet. Hi, YouTube. We are out here, as the kids say, in Chicago, in front of some art. Today we're shooting street photography in Chicago, my home city. I'm shooting on my Leica M6 with my Zeiss Biogon 35f2, and I have my buddy Jesse here, who's also shooting.
I'm shooting with my Contax T2 with the built-in 38mm 2.8 Zeiss lens.
Boom. We're both gonna roll with some Portra 400. You have everything on auto with this camera, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like program mode, essentially.
And then I don't. My battery's dead in my Leica, so I don't have a meter in my viewfinder. But Portra 400 is super flexible, and I'm gonna trust my film lab to cover all of my mistakes. Cut.
As you can probably tell, Jesse and I photograph strangers doing everyday things in the street, and I know there'll be plenty of comments asking if that's legal, and yes, it is legal in the US. You know, street photography takes form in many different ways. I'm sure you can also see the difference in style, Jesse and mine, with me attempting to stay still, looking for an action or an emotion or composition, whereas Jesse shoots with a lot of movement, blurring the frame and giving the image an almost bleeding effect. Now, after we got the scans back, he said that he may have leaned into that movement a little too hard that day, with it being in the shadows and the shade, and too many frames came out with way too much motion blur. But that's the beauty of film photography on the street. It makes you slow down and recognize what you really want, even after you get your scans back. You learn from what you did wrong, and you apply it to the next time. It's always evolving. But one of the most beautiful things is that you're out there documenting history and learning from your mistakes every single time. And as per usual, when I shoot a film photography video, I had one of those mistakes of my own.
I don't know why this stuff always happens to me with my film camera, but the roll just got weird, and I felt tension while I was advancing each frame, and then I felt it like jaggedly move as I advanced one. So I rewound it, what I think was a few frames, shot a few blank ones into my chest. Hopefully I didn't ruin the frames I already shot, and I think I might have a blank frame in there, and I hope everything's back to normal now. We'll see.
Happened again. My foibles with film just never end. That almost rhymed. It seems like every time I shoot a film camera video, something bad happens. And usually it's just me being an idiot. This time it didn't feel like me being an idiot. I shot maybe 25 frames on the roll, started to feel tension on the film, and then, I don't know, it must have been at like 26 or 27, I went to advance and it just like clicked. I'm like, that's not good. I felt like the film disconnected. I got to about 32. Same thing happened with advancing. It just did it again, dude. I just advanced and it went. It does not feel good, dude. I'm just gonna call it and roll it back. When I went to rewind, I did a few circles on the rewind lever and there was no more tension. So either the film ripped out of the canister or it's back in the canister and I shot nothing. Right now, I'm gonna go into my closet in the darkest place in my house to try to get this film into this canister and see if it's salvageable. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna grab a black towel to put on the outside of the door so that no light can get in. I'm gonna close this door too so it gets really dark. So I'm gonna close the door, I'm gonna open up the camera, and then see what's inside. Wish me luck. It's very dark in here. Oh dear God. All right, reaching in. Feels like the film, feels like it got jammed up high. Oh shoot. Oh, it ripped for sure. Okay, so I figured it out. Half of the film ripped out of the canister and into the spool section. So all of the film that I shot is wrapped around the spool section. I just have to figure out how I'm going to pull the film out of there. It's just really difficult, and doing it in the dark is not easy. So I'll try to make it happen. If I can't, then I'm probably just gonna send in my whole camera. It's salvageable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And wait, the film's still in there?
Yeah. But the canister's
empty.
Yes. Well, there's like a small piece of film in here, I think. Or it's sitting at the bottom of the closet. I think I'm gonna make a whole separate video that's like, I'm an idiot, featuring Eric's Leica M6.
Episode
7.
Yeah.
So I have to take the film out, completely out, and then I roll it up by hand and stick it in the black canister. Wish me luck.
Okay.
Oh. Yes. Dude, this is nuts. Okay, that's the end of it. Canister's open. Closed. Bam! Yes! Victory. This is what I was talking about. It just literally ripped the film in half. I have no idea why or how. About halfway through the roll too, when I had that issue, I think at frame 26, it was also like jagged at that part. Like there were sections of the top and bottom that were like crunched. Like everything looks fine though, that's the issue.
Now this video, or any video on my channel for that matter, is not some sort of stupid flex, but rather just me trying to communicate that being imperfect is totally normal, and that striving for absolute perfection in photography or filmmaking is a dead-end road. It's on film videos like this where the film snobs will take to the comments and tell me how I don't deserve to use or own a Leica M6 because of the foibles I've had with film. But the truth is, I purchased this camera as an investment to pass down to my kids one day as an heirloom. With all of its quirks and subtleties, I think it's a very interesting and nuanced way to be capturing history. And ironically, the last 2 frames of that roll, which technically got ruined by light leaks and damage of the film, ended up being my 2 favorite frames from that day. These little happy accidents we have with film are what make it so beautiful and nuanced and interesting, like life, and helps remind us that life isn't flawless and that we don't need to be, and our little machines don't have to be either. We filmed this video on March 5th before the world went on lockdown, and while a lot of the photos may seem very normal and uninteresting, with normal people doing normal things on a normal workday, these photographs stand as a marker of our history before we had to take to our caves of quarantine and be masked every time we went outside. The truth is, I'll use this film camera as a medium to document history, to remember who we were as a city and as a culture and as a people. But I'll also use this camera as the documentation for my people, whether the photos are pristine or entirely average and even flawed. I want to use it to remember who we were. I hope this video is encouraging to you, and I hope that you know that we are all imperfect. And I hope you walk away with the reminder that we are all imperfect and that we don't need to be striving for perfection. The beauty is in the process of learning and growing, and if you end up taking pictures that you love along the way, it's all the more beautiful. If you're interested in keeping up with my film photography, I have a separate Instagram account called Nostalgia Cash, so give it a follow and keep up with all of my film adventures there, whether it be street or family. And if you like this video, it'd help my channel out a ton if you just gave it a thumbs up. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not already to see more videos like this. And if anything resonated with you in this video, I'd love to have a discussion with you down in the comments. So feel free to leave a comment down there. That's all I have for you today. Please be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon.